Well, Henry, how is it going?
Good, good.
That is good. Greetings, Henry.
God be with you, my friend. Good day.
I have not changed my answer. I will not sell you the rights to my mines. Not today, not tomorrow, nor in 100 years. You will not get your hands on my silver.
You forget, I have influential friends. If you won't sell the mines, you'll lose them. Just like Malashov. Along with your life, if you defy me.
Mind your step. Two can play that game. Did you really think that I didn't know you were stealing the royal silver, eh? When your self-proclaimed king finds that out, your head will be on the chopping block.
Seize that traitor!
Not another step.
You'll get yours too, Turtle Dove. What are you waiting for? Can't you see? They're threatening the Royal Mint Master!
He's one of them! Dead man. Get him!
Take that!
At him! He's got no chance alone! Slice him up!
Damn. They gave me a going over. Good thing you showed up, lad.
You alright, sir? Looks like you took some hits.
It's just a scratch.
Papa! My God! You're hurt!
I'm all right. What the hell was that, Rosa?
I saved your life, didn't you notice?
We would have been in the right if you hadn't taken the shot. Now we have the blood of the king's men on our hands. Do you have any idea what this means?
Was I supposed to let one of Sigismund's lackeys insult us in our own home?
And you thought this was a better solution?
You know what? Let's just leave it be. I don't want to argue in front of the young man here. Apologies for the mess, stranger. There aren't usually so many corpses strewn about our courtyard.
Should I get rid of them?
Absolutely not. We'll call the guards and tell them what happened. That Ulrich Vavak and his men attacked us for no reason.
You think that will make them let us off the hook?
Not for free. But knowing young Plimo, the commander of the guard, I'm sure he won't refuse my coin. But back to you, lad. Who are you? And why have you graced us with your visit?
I'm Henry of Scallis, squire to Lord Capon of Perkstein.
Pleased to meet you. Conslin Routard. And this feisty creature here is my daughter Rosa.
Like father, like daughter.
Why did your master send you to me, Henry?
He didn't, sir. Unfortunately, he's in enemy captivity.
We're sorry to hear that.
But I plan to rescue him. And I believe you can help me with that.
We can? How?
Lord Capon is held at Malashov.
Our Malashov? I don't envy him. I was planning on fixing the roof before they took it from us. It's full of leaks. I doubt its new master will lift a finger to do anything about it. But tell me, why would I meddle in matters that don't concern me?
Well, we all stand on the same side. Against Sigismund.
That is undoubtedly true. I don't like that ginger bastard either. Especially since his people started sticking their fingers in my coffers. But to get involved in something as dangerous as freeing a captured nobleman in a territory conquered by Sigismund?
We have to do something to help. I know it's dangerous.
Dangerous? It's madness. What if somebody finds out?
Does it really matter?
It certainly does, lad. I'd only end up with my head on the chopping block. And I don't even want to think about what they'd do to Rosa.
That's true. As long as Vavak's breathing down our necks, we have to be careful.
Who is he, anyway?
Ulrich Vavak von Neuhaus. The new mint master appointed by Sigismund himself. He's had it in for us ever since he took over the office. He's been pressuring me to hand over my mining rights. It seems he'd like to see me reduced to a beggar. And now we've killed his men. The king's men. I'll have to reach deep into my pocket to get out of that. Like Rosa said, lad. As long as Vavak is around, my hands are tied. I'm sorry.
Should I kill him?
Christ almighty!
I don't doubt you could pull it off, but it wouldn't help anything. Sigismund's people are like the Hydra. You chop off one head, and another grows back in its place. We'd just get another Vavak, if not worse. No, killing won't solve anything. We have to do something else to get to him. It's obvious Vavak is getting richer than his office warrants. There are rumors going around that he's stealing the king's silver. He even uses it to mint counterfeit groschen, using a fake dye. If Sigismund were to find out, he'd have him executed at once, regardless of his noble blood.
Ah, I see. You want to blackmail Vavak?
It certainly wouldn't hurt to have something on him that would put him in his place for good. Some kind of evidence.
But how do we find it?
Some of the silver goes missing somewhere along the way to the mint. And we have to find out where.
Find out? But how? They don't let just anyone into the mines and smelting works.
You're right. Only authorized people are allowed in. Fortunately, we have an ally. my friend Peter of Pisek. They ousted him from the Mintmaster's office, but his brother Christian remained in the Italian court. He wanted to become the Mintmaster himself, but because of Vavak, he had to settle for the steward's office. He hates him even more than we do on account of it.
And that's saying something.
Christian and I were just talking about his suspicions. He'd welcome any dirt you can dig up on Vavak, just as much as I would. If you go to him and ask for help on my behalf, I'm sure he'll accommodate you. I'll help you free Lord Capon in exchange for evidence of Vavak's fraud. That's fair, isn't it?
All right. It's a deal. I've already met Peter of Pisek, and I know he can be trusted. Let's hope the same goes for his brother.
Excellent. You'll find Christian and Horshan at the estate near the mines. Tell him the password, Via Argentum, the pot of silver. He'll know who he's dealing with. But be careful, both of you. This is our last chance to stop Vavak.
We'll be praying for you.
braver Köter. Ganz brav.
How can I help you?
Show me your ware. Let's talk about the prop.
Sure. Aye, you'll convince me with that price. Thank you.
Fine
And a good day to you, friend.
Fine
Drop that
wares.
whistle.
Come and take your pick.
Iron wares, knives, rivet. What do you need, man?
What do you have for sale? I'd like to do something about...
All right, I'm listening.
Best wares on the market. Come and take a look.
Finally, a reasonable sum. Pleasure doing business. Take care.
Quality fabrics for great prices.
Knives! Knives
What?
for sale!
Quality goods. Apples. Juicy apples. Yellow and red. Price of apples, light and dark.
Good morning to you.
Thin black bread.
Show me your wares.
I'd like to discuss the
All right, I'm...
Horseradish. Delicious horseradish. Come and get some wonderful horseradish.
Satisfied?
That's more like... Finally! Thank you, and take
Juicy
care.
pears.
Cloud then.
Huh? No. A blessed morning to you. We're now open.
Come and take your pick. New West.
Do your shopping here.
Guten Tag, mein Freund. Grüß Gott.
What do you have for sale?
Wie schade. Auf Wiedersehen. Was möchtest du?
What do you have for...
Du wirst sicher zufrieden sein. Bis bald.
Hi, sweet.
Why'd you ask? I heard she was sick. I just wanted to know if she's feeling better.
Oh, you're not.
Good morning.
Show me your way.
A word about the price.
Aye.
How's this?
That sounds real. Aye, that's some will. And have a nice day, friend.
What's the hold-up, innkeeper?
I went to see him, but he threw me out. And you were surprised? But it was just a simple misunderstanding.
Just 2 groschen for a
Bollocks
football.
a misunderstanding.
That's not bad.
You made a fool
I
of
was
yourself.
afraid they'd overcharge.
Good morning.
The townsfolk goes up and comes.
You said you needed some help with something. What's going on?
Something's happened. A real mess. And I need help from someone reliable.
What is it?
When I was fishing around for information about Liechtenstein, I cast the net a bit too wide. And one of the servant girls I questioned was just found dead.
You think she was killed because of you?
I don't know. If I did, I wouldn't be asking you for help.
I'll help you. Tell me all about it. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She was an ordinary, pretty girl. She worked as a maid. I heard they found her all hacked up, tossed somewhere by the town wall. Oh, folk in town are saying it was absolute slaughter. They took the body to the morgue by the St. Peter and St. Paul cemetery.
I'll go take a look at her. See if I can find anything.
I think that would be for the best. Though, I don't think it'll be a very pretty sight. You can ask the gravedigger for details. He'll know the most.
Do you think there could be something bigger behind the murder?
I don't know. Maybe she just got caught up in something. But it's strange. Why would someone do her like that? That's the kind of thing you do when you want to send someone a message.
When did you last see the girl?
Around a week ago?
And did you notice anything suspicious about her?
Not at all. She was always cheerful, lively. She was looking forward to a dance. Though I'm afraid she won't be dancing ever again.
What was Alice trying to find out for you?
She always brought me the freshest gossip overheard from her master. And lately, what the other maids in town were saying.
And did you learn anything important from her? Something someone would kill her for?
That's the thing. All she brought me was gossip. Who was cheating on who wasn't going to confession, those sorts of things. So you'll have to figure out the rest for yourself.
And what about your other girls? Are they all right?
Yes, fortunately. I'm careful enough to keep them pretty much in the dark about my plans. That's why Alice's death shocked me so much.
What are you gonna do next?
I'd like to ask the others if they noticed anything suspicious. If someone is following them and the like, but...
But you don't want to scare them.
I'm scared myself. For them. Maybe nobody knows about them yet. If someone was to follow me, I could give them away. And I can't risk that. I don't want anyone else to die because of me.
What if I go and see them?
They don't know you, Henry. You'd only scare them. I'll figure something out. In the meantime, find out everything you can about Alice.
Why did you ask me in particular for help?
Because you're the only one I know here.
Aha.
But don't take it the wrong way. I'm actually glad it's you. You're pretty reliable. Not even Zhishka would be a...
Aha. I know everything.
Good. Go to that graveyard, talk to the gravedigger, and take a look at that poor girl's body. In the meantime...
What happened at Nebakov? After the Praguers took the fortress?
You're asking me?
No, of course. I know you weren't there, but maybe you heard something. You know what goes on, right? I only remember that diabolical shot. Nothing after that.
That must have been really terrible. I heard the shot all the way from Troskowitz. I'm afraid all I know is when they took the fortress, von Aulitz's men hanged everyone they found there. I'm sorry.
There was this healer called Clara there.
A girl of yours?
No, I don't know her well. But she was very kind to me. I suppose now I'll never see her again.
Poor girl. May God forgive her sins and grant her eternal rest. You have to live every day like it's going to be your last. That's all you can do in our trade.
Do you know if Michael, the adjutant, survived?
I'm afraid I do know. Zizka said the shot killed him on the spot.
Did you know him?
Aye. He was a good man. He saved my life once. Not now.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
No, that's...
Careful.
What's that? Young man, could you spare me a moment of your time? Tarry a while, young man. And are you true?
I really don't...
Everyone should know that the immortal soul, happiness and Tell me.
Well, I'm quite unremarkable.
A humble
That's the way of the...
all that will... What if I... the path of...
What should I do?
Renounce your life of sin. Hell is a...
Why am I wasting my time on a madman like you?
A madman? You too? I must be off. May God be with...
God be with you.
Farewell.
Goods.
The best wares on the market. Come and take a look. A fine day for some fine wares. Come and take your pick.
You have a kind master, eh, Mutt? You mangy mutt. Hold that beast to heel.
Where did you go? You silly doggy.
Keep close to the others. Not safe here.
I'm sorry.
God be with you. What would you like?
You must be the local gravedigger.
That's right. They call me František. At least them that can speak do. Ha!
I'm Henry.
Greetings, Henry. What do you need?
I hear there was a murder here recently. Some young girl?
True. True. She's lying in the morgue. But who the hell are you? Another Gawker?
Another? Why would anybody come to look at her?
People ain't got no respect. As soon as news spread about what was done to her, folk are always turning up to have a gawk. So if you ain't one of them Gawkers, you must be one of them other types. Well, no, you can't shave her. No, no thumb for a souvenir.
I don't want to take anything. I need to find something out.
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
I'm worried something might happen to my friend.
That's true. She wasn't the first, and we can only pray that she'll be the last. It's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't expect that from him no more.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of those gawkers and collectors?
No, no. He actually tried to help.
Help? How?
Well, he was investigating them others.
Right. You said she wasn't the first.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by the same murderer.
And who is this Lumiere?
He used to work for the local bailiff. I think he knew the first one what was killed, but that was a long time ago.
Do you remember how many girls were killed?
You mean you don't know nothing about it? Here, even the sparrows are squawking about it.
I haven't been in Kuttenberg very long.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the past year.
What's this Lumiere got to do with this?
Well, like I told you, he used to work for the bailiff. I think he was a scribe.
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle, though I've never heard of one doing his own investigations.
Well, the old bailiff wasn't all that interested in the common folk. But Lumiere, he was quite helpful. Folk heard about it and went to him with whatever was troubling them.
Do you know where the last one got killed?
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here. But what do you want to do there?
Look for clues. Footprints, blood, anything.
That can help you?
That's worth a try.
I heard she was killed by the town walls, close to the Hole in the Wall, a dodgy tavern in the Hoprink neighborhood.
Thanks. I'd like to speak with Lumiere. Do you know where I can find him?
At his home in Bohemia Street, that's near the church. You won't find him at the bailiff's no more. I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the bailiff.
Thanks. You've been a big help.
It's my pleasure, especially helping someone from the land of the living again. Actually, wait a mo. Speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that dead maid. I think her name is Barbara.
And do you know where I could find her?
She said she serves in one of the burgers' houses, so either there or in the morgue with that poor dead girl.
Thanks again, Master Gravedigger.
Farewell.
So, let's see what we have here. My God! Someone really did a number on her. Oh, they ripped open her entire belly. And they didn't stop there. There must have been buckets of blood. Anyway, what else do we have? Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in place. But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe would have made a bigger mess. But it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God, that madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. But what did he do with it all afterwards? Oh, better not to think about it. Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled? The murderer must have had pretty strong hands, and her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. I don't even know what colour it was. Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer kept her hair like some kind of sick trophy? Just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time to defend herself.
What have they done to you?
So, the murderer must have awfully strong hands, because he strangled her and left a dark ring around her neck. Then he took a short sword or saber and started hacking at her. She's missing parts of her torso, but they aren't by the body. He also cut off most of her hair. He cut off her breasts, but left her tongue, then left her lying there for all to see. To send a message, maybe? Or a warning? Only if it was a warning for telltales, he would have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think it's because of Catherine. Are you Barbara? I'm told you knew Alice.
Alice. She was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years, in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day, she just didn't come home. And then, they found her. Like this.
It's awful what they did to her.
She was such a pretty girl. And that beautiful brown hair of hers. And it didn't even leave that untouched. Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
I know she was seeing someone. Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised him she'd never tell anyone his name.
And you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name? Can I speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
He couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
I heard about that. And also about Lumir.
Well, if you're interested, go and see him. Maybe you'll catch him sober enough to talk sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace now.
You shouldn't be walking around by yourself. Awful thing. You silly doggy.
apologise.
Lumiere?
Oh. Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of cure or potion. This should sober him. No. Nothing like a little hair.
More booze. Christ. I'm gonna puke.
Drink up. It'll make you feel better.
Better already. Wait! What? Who? What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumiere from the Rat House? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumiere the Madman.
They say that about you. Why?
Because I was just on some wild goose chase. And what came of it? Absolutely nothing.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
A friend, eh? That's not good. Not good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I did?
Because I'm stubborn, and I don't have any other choice. I'll get to the truth, no matter what.
You think that will suffice?
If not, I'd have been dead long ago. Bled out from a human arrow.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid, too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
Did you have any suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kuttenberg's bailiff. Kuttenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels. Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk, too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiffs one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it, too.
Behind the bailiff's back?
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until... recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the Church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. The murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the two girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this Mole? In the hole?
Yeah. He still runs the place.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
And what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty, and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those 2 dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have 6 victims here. And I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4, the most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first 2. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. He should know the most about her. The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies weren't found, but we assume they also became victims of the same murderer. They both hung around a tavern they called the Hole in the Wall. Stanya was an alehouse maid, and Zdena a pickpocket. And the last victim is Alice now, also a maid. What they all have in common is that they were young, beautiful, and brunette.
Good. I know everything I need to know.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
Not at all. I told him it was
You shouldn't be walking around by yourself.
Good day to you. What do you want from me?
Father, I need to ask you a few questions.
I don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
That's not why I'm here. My name's Henry, and I wanted to ask about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Why is it you ask?
I fear for my sister. She's also a maid.
Yes. Fear for those close to you is commendable. What would you like to hear?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka? She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Groll family.
Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died, I took care of her.
Why don't you respect Lumiere?
That's my business. You needn't concern yourself about that. I won't tell you anything.
Come now, Father. I'm not just asking out of curiosity. This is about all the dead girls. Isn't it written in Scripture, speak up for those who have no voice?
A layman quotes the Bible to me. Fine. Lumiere accused me of her murder.
What?
Yes. He slandered me in public.
And how... What happened then?
It turned out he was deranged.
How could he even think such a thing? He's finished in Kuttenberg.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals astray. Yarka always went there to listen to music.
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
No, absolutely not.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew Yarka wasn't my own daughter.
What does a priest know about children?
Yes. And what does a yokel know about decency? A true mystery.
How does that even work? Did you have her with you at the presbytery?
When she was small, I could. But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
I've heard enough, Father. I'll be going.
Son, I'll give you some good advice. Don't listen to Lumiere. That man has gone completely mad.
Are you Sternad? The one that went with Zdenna?
Who the fuck are you?
Just an ordinary bloke who has some questions.
Well then, piss off. You won't get any answers here. All you're gonna get here is a kick in the teeth.
Why so rash? That kind of attitude will do you no favors. Let's make a deal. You tell me everything you know about Zdenna, and I'll make sure you're no worse for wear.
Do you take me for a complete chump, eh? You look like you just crawled out of some dung heap.
I'm hearing...
Oh, shit! You swine! Enough! I give up!
Well, had enough?
Fuck yeah, damn it. What the hell do you want from me?
Talk! Where's Zdenna?
The last time I saw her, it's a long time ago. She scored big. Everyone was fucking jealous. She just needed to pawn it off.
Do you remember what she managed to steal?
Mainly jewels. Gold and silver. No bloody pewter. She had some fucking huge golden signet ring. A bloke could fuck for a whole month with something like that.
Do you know whose crest was on it?
I don't know. I'm no expert. But it were bloody expensive, that's for sure.
And where did she go with her loot? Do you know?
Well, she had some kind of arrangement with this fella called Pint from the mill. The one called Rabstein. She always took the stuff to him.
Do you know who she took it off?
She always said she found it on the street. That's because if the wrong ears hear it, you can end up in the shit. Or on the gallows, even.
Did she hang out with any men?
She liked to hang around with that crooner that plays for the miners in that tavern of theirs. Made him sing songs and that. Oh, and once she got in a quarrel with that fucking priest Prokop. That was a laugh.
Could she have run away with that bard?
I doubt it. He was a bit of a milksop. He tried to be all mysterious and played a tough fella, but you could see he was lying. And Zdena could see right through him, I bet.
Why do you think so?
Because he was getting on my nerves, so I cornered him in a dark alley one time. He ran away so fast, I bet he shit himself.
And what about this priest? Why was he quarrelling with her?
I don't know. He was blabbering some shit about finding her a job, only she didn't want it.
Good afternoon.
Did Estanya work here?
Stanya. Maybe. It depends on who's asking.
My name's Henry.
Names don't interest me. The main thing is whether it's a good guest or a bad guest asking. What kind of guest are you, Henry?
I'm a good guest.
Really? Let's see. Do you know how to recognize a good guest?
By the fact he spends a lot of coin?
Aye. I like talking to them kind of guests. A lot. So, what
if I simply paid you, and you tell me what I want to know?
Ask away.
I want to know if Stanya worked here.
She did. And she don't know more. What's it to you?
I heard she disappeared without a trace. So I'm trying to find out if anyone had anything to do with it.
It's possible. The chamber she was sleeping in here was totally ransacked. The door open. Everything emptied out. And Stanya was gone. All I found were bloody footprints.
Tell me something else.
First, you'll have another beer. Or is it time to pay?
What?
If you want to ask, you have to drink. Didn't you get that?
You're quite the extortionist.
I prefer to be called an enterprising man of trade. So, what'll it be?
I don't want to pay you any more. I think you could answer my questions directly and not always try to wheedle money out of me. That makes it look like you might have some motive for keeping me from finding out anything about that murder.
Nonsense. How could you think that? Come on. Ask me anything you want.
Did anybody see what actually happened when Stanya disappeared?
No, it was at night. Nobody saw or heard anything. The tavern tends to be empty at that hour. And you won't meet many people on the street, neither.
What was Stanya like? What can you tell me about her?
A bold woman. One has to be here. Everyone's ballsy here unless you nib it in the bud right away. She was hanging around a bard for a while. I don't know how close they were, but she also had another suitor.
Someone from the city?
No, a charcoal burner. I heard he was from somewhere in the, Verchlitz Valley. I think his name was Barton?
How did Stanya's room look?
The door was wide open. Most of her things were gone, but some remained. And there was blood all over the place.
Blood? Was there a lot?
Not so much, really. More like hand or footprints. But they were near everywhere. If someone done her in, They definitely didn't do it in that chamber.
What do you know about that bard?
What about him? He's a minstrel, a skirt chaser. What more can I say? He called himself William. As far as I know, he plays in the Miners' Tavern in the evenings. But sometimes he shows up here, too.
You think he might have been the one who...
Now that you mention it, he cleared out of town for a while and only came back not long ago. It could be him, all right. I know he met with some odd people and talked about God knows what, like bloody spies. Besides, you know what minstrels are like. Lasses just flock to them. And like they say, opportunity makes the thief.
Or in this case, a murderer. Apart from those men, did anyone else know Stanya? I mean, more intimately.
Well, I've got bad news for you. She had 2 close friends, but you won't get much out of either of them.
Why?
One was hit by a cart, even before Stanya disappeared. And she died. And the other one got married and moved away.
Where can I find this Barton?
I already told you. In the Verchlitz Valley.
Could you be a bit more precise?
I don't know that bloke at all. All I know is he's a charcoal burner. So if I was you, I'd look somewhere around the charcoal kilns.
That's all I need to know. I could lay down for a bit. I could use some sleep.
Standing in the yard, when I saw this cloud in the sky. The cloud looked just like...
I could use a nap. It's William, right? I need to talk to you.
What is it? Do we know each other? Do I owe you money?
My name's Henry, and no, we don't know each other, and you don't owe me money. But we do have something in common. We have a lot of mutual friends.
What? What do you want of me? I don't have to talk to you.
Well, you don't have to, that's true. But you should. It's in your own best interest.
What are you talking about?
If you don't start giving me some answers right now, I reckon you'll end up begging in the streets. Because I'll break all your fingers, and you'll never play the lute again, you miserable minstrel.
What? No! Come on, I didn't do anything!
Stop whining and talk, or I'll be the one doing something to you.
Come on. All right, then. Ask away.
Did you know Alice?
I know a lot of Alices. You have to be more specific.
The one they found dead somewhere below the town walls.
Oh, her. I didn't know her, but I heard about it.
They say she had a rich young suitor. Do you know anything about that?
Me? Do I look rich to you? I get paid in food.
But you could at least pass yourself off as wealthy.
Or I could claim to be the Virgin Mary, but I doubt anyone would believe me.
I heard she used to go to dances.
Yeah, and? I'm not the only musician in the city. I really didn't know her.
And did you ever meet Yarka? It was a long time ago, but I heard she used to hang around you a lot. And Father Prokop didn't like it.
Oh, that one. Aye, she was very keen on my company for a while, but then she stopped coming.
Because somebody killed her?
I know what happened was a tragedy, but it wasn't my fault. She stopped talking to me long before that. Honest.
And can you tell me anything else about it?
I don't know anything. It was a long time ago. You said so yourself.
And I hear you knew Stanya.
Which one do you mean?
The alehouse wench from the hole. I heard you had something with her too.
Well, she batted her eyes at me a couple of times when I was still playing there. A nice girl, but I didn't know her much.
And the innkeeper Mole told me a different story. He said you were the one coming on to her.
Fine, we had a bit of fun together. But she was always the one who started it.
And aren't you just saying that because she left you?
Oh, come on! I could have any woman, if I wanted. The innkeeper must have got it mixed up. He's an old drunkard after all. If I was you, I wouldn't take him too seriously.
And what about Zdena? You knew her, right?
Do I know Zdena? As wild as the wind and always full of life. And those nimble fingers. You always had to check your purse around her.
Did she steal something from you?
A traveling minstrel doesn't have much to steal, but she was well aware of that. She was on the lookout for some better prey.
You don't happen to know who she wanted to rob?
There were lots. Anyone she thought was rich enough who let her ply her charms for a while. Like young von Groller. When he started coming here, she got to him right away. Said she was gonna rob him blind. Far as I know, she didn't succeed. If she robbed a noble like von Groller, word would get around. Look, why are you asking me about all this? You don't seriously think I killed her, do you?
Well, you did know them all.
And? I'm surely not the only one.
That may be true. But everybody knows you're a skirt chaser, and they were all pretty girls. And now, they're dead.
But I had nothing to do with it!
So you didn't do anything to them?
No! Why would I? What would I get out of it? It doesn't make any sense. It goes against God.
You dare invoke God?
I admit, I'm no saint, but for Christ's sake, I'd never kill anybody.
Good. I believe you. But if any clue leads me back here to you, I won't give you a second chance.
You won't hear about me again, I swear to God.
Christ, I need some sleep. What's new in?
Nothing much. If you're looking for...
What do you have for...
Thank you. And a good day to you, friend.
Greetings to you.
God be with you. Oh, may I...
Be careful. It isn't safe around here.
could use some sleep.
I'm in no mood for nonsense, so no messing about.
I could use a nap.
Be careful. It's not safe.
Can I get something to eat and a place to sleep?
Aye, we've got some room left. And
I'll just stay.
No, that...
All right, here's your grub.
I knew we'd come. Anyone can sleep like...
Where can I find...
On the second floor, right across from the stairs. Farewell.
Exhausted.
My God! What's taking so long?
Be careful. God is punishing us for our sins.
Hey, innkeeper! That beer!
Christ! Pardon me.
morning to you.
Are you Pint?
I am. Why?
I'm looking for Zdena.
I don't know any Zdena.
Sternad said something different.
You're a friend of Sternad's, are you?
Ah, God forbid. That's all I need. A friend like that bastard. But he was the only one who really knew Zdena.
You're right there. Zdena was always cursing him. He was as lazy as a pig, but always wanted his share.
So you knew Zdena? Can you tell me anything about her?
I know Zdena all right, but she ain't been here in some time. Why are you looking for her? What do you want from her?
I'm looking for a... Back in the city, they think she's either dead or run off somewhere. And you're the last person to see her before she went missing.
Kurva.
I heard she wanted to sell you some valuables. Is that true?
Oh, aye. She had a good haul. No rubbish. Mostly jewelry, rings, one signet ring with a coat of arms and everything. She left it all here. I paid her a pretty sum of coin. It was a good thing she had a basket with her. Otherwise, she couldn't have carried it all.
And what about that signet ring? Do you still have it?
She didn't sell me the ring. She wanted to keep it. Said it'd bring her luck someday.
Where did she go next from here? You said she had a lot of coin on her.
That she did. She also had a feeling someone was following her. Someone on a horse.
Someone followed her on a horse from Kuttenberg. Did she say what he looked like?
She didn't. At first, she thought it was some wealthy lord out for a ride. But he held back. Never passed by her and...
And did you see him? Did he come all the way here?
No. But Zdena thought he would show. She even left her scarf here and paid some girl to walk around with it to make it look like she was still here.
And then where'd she go?
She wanted to go the back way, through the woods, so nobody could follow her. Past the woods is a road and a ford across a stream. Next to it is a huge boulder. When it rains, the water can rise fast. The road goes on to Kuttenberg.
Well, if it leads back to the road and there was really someone following her, I reckon if they saw she was long in returning, they could have waited for her at the ford, no?
Fuck! That's quite possible. I made a point of looking, but I didn't see any riders that day, so I forgot about it.
And could it have been William?
And who would that be?
He's this bard she was seeing.
I don't know about that. I don't remember her mentioning nobody by that name.
What can you tell me about Zdena?
She always had it hard. She lost her parents and her home as a child. She had to learn to take care of herself.
And what about Sternad? How does he fit into this?
Sternad was her guardian angel, as she used to say. If she hadn't been thieving with him, she probably would have ended up a whore. But by sharing with him, she could do what she wanted.
Uh-huh. I'm surprised she stuck with him as long as she did.
That's because she had a hideout somewhere nearby. That's why she'd come to me with her loot, before they taxed her on the spot. And the last time she was here, she said one more haul like this, and she'll be able to go wherever she wanted, to Prague or Vienna.
Do you know what kind of luck she meant? Did you recognize the signet on the ring?
No, I didn't recognize that signet. But all the while, Zdena was giggling to herself. I reckon she had her eye on another mark.
Zdena's scarf. Do you still have it?
Aye. I wanted to give it back to her the next time she came.
Will you give it to me? I'll try having my dog track her down.
All the same to me. Here you go. But it's been a long time. I don't know if it will help.
And could it have been Father Prokop following her?
What do I know? If he has a horse and fancy clothes. But why would he do it?
I heard he wanted to find her an honest job, but she wasn't interested.
I don't know. She didn't say nothing about that.
Well, I'll go and check out that fort. Maybe I'll find something there.
I hope you don't. Farewell.
and ruffians, eh?
God bless.
I keep saying this country needs a firm hand.
I saw that
Good
firm hand of
doggy.
yours with my own eyes. Some bastards burnt down a farm near Nimburg.
That has to be that ford Pike was talking about. I should take a look around here. This must be that basket of silver Zdena was carrying with her. She wouldn't have just left that here. But where did it come from? Maybe it rolled down the hill? Poor thing. She didn't get very far. Ugh, she's been lying here a long time. At first glance, this body isn't as mutilated as the others. Oh, she's all stuck to her clothes. They're torn up, but I don't see any cuts. The rips are odd. Like someone was looking for something. Unfortunately, I can't tell if somebody strangled her like the others. She's been lying here too long for that, but her head is smashed in. Either the murderer hit her with a rock, or dashed her hard against the ground. She must have put up a fight. Or maybe he lost his patience? Ugh, I can't make much out by now, but it seems as if the fingers on her right hand are broken. Did the murderer torture her? Or was he trying to get something out of her hand? Oh, my God. Oh, something fell out of her. A signet ring. Oh, that must be the one she stole. How did it get inside her? Did she swallow it herself? Or did the murderer shove it in there? Was she trying to hide it? Or was it punishment for stealing? Well, that's enough. I'd say she put up a decent fight, and the killer had to improvise. And that's about all I can find. But that ring is a good lead.
salvation.
God be with you, my friend.
Sick 'em.
Are the wolves gone? Really? You must have been sent from heaven itself, lad. Do you know how long I've been waiting for someone to come? That's long enough to start shitting in a bucket.
What happened here?
Well, what do you think? You saw for yourself. The wolves attacked us as soon as we went deeper into the forest. They must have their den somewhere nearby. Some managed to get away. The wolves got some. And I was left trapped in here. Just me and my bucket. Thanks for pulling me out of the shits.
How about repaying me somehow?
Repaying you? Of course! I can't give you anything valuable. Because I don't have anything. But
I'm all ears. I need to ask you something.
I don't have time for that.
I'm looking for someone named Stanya.
You're in a charcoal camp, fella. What would a woman be doing here?
But you know Stanya, don't you?
Aye. You could say that. Why?
I'm looking for the killer of a girl in town. And I heard that someone also tried to kill this Stanya.
That's true. She told me something like that. But that was a long time ago.
So you don't know what became of her?
I really don't know, mate. But even if I did know, how can I be sure you aren't that killer?
I wouldn't be foolishly asking around for her then, would I?
Why not? How else would you find her?
I'd sneak into your house to see if she was there, perchance.
You can forget about that, you snoop.
You asked what else I'd do.
It seems to me you've got this all figured out. Just like a real murderer. So it's time for you to go, lad. Get the hell out of here. Scram! Till we meet again.
Excuse me?
You have a kind master, eh, Mutt?
Huh? Oh, it's just you. I'm sorry.
can't leave now.
God bless.
Oh, you fool. Good to see you, friends. Jesus Christ be praised.
Hail Mary.
Excuse me.
God be with you.
Hail Mary. You have a kind master, eh? Much?
Ah, greetings, friend. Good day. God bless.
Same to you.
Good day.
God bless. God be with you.
Christ be praised, sir.
God bless. God grant you health.
God bless. Good day. Praise the Lord. Oh, greetings to you too.
Did you do what I asked you to?
Yes, sir. Everything's in order.
Everything? Really? You didn't forget anything?
I don't think so, sir. I tried my best, sir.
Well done. Drop by tomorrow. There's something else I need. You can go now.
How was your trip?
The journey itself was great. No delays, nice weather. But I've got to say, it's a scary place out there.
Nothing but footpads and ruffians, eh? I keep saying, this country needs a...
Here you go. Take it.
Greetings to you.
Jesus Christ be praised. God bless. Greetings. God grant you health.
God be with you. Keep the peace, and we'll stay friends.
No one's allowed in the shaft except yakkers. Get lost. That's it! And next time, don't go creeping around where you don't belong.
Who are you? You can't just walk around the mine.
Ah, Christ.
What are you doing here?
You're a Christian of Pisek?
I am. What do you need?
Kunzlin Ruthard sent me. About Via Argentum.
I see. But I'm afraid I don't have good news for Sir Kunzling. I haven't made much progress regarding the matter we discussed. I just don't have the time to investigate. I'm always needed somewhere, and there's always someone following me around.
So is Vavak really stealing the silver?
For God's sake, not so loud! What's your name?
Henry.
All right. Listen up, Henry. Nobody can know I'm looking into it. It's a very dangerous game. If Sir Kunzling trusts you, you could help me in my investigation.
Well, that's actually why I'm here.
Excellent. Excellent. You don't happen to come from a family of miners or smelters, do you?
My father was a blacksmith.
It's a fine craft. But it won't teach you much about silver mining and processing. I'll be happy to tell you everything you need to know. Now, follow me, please. We need to talk somewhere in private. Hang on. It's not far.
Good to see you.
Where should I start looking?
Straight to the point. I like that. We know for a fact the silver must be getting lost somewhere on its way to the mint. That means it would be best to discreetly inspect all operations and find out where the problem is. First of all, you should ask miners from every shift how many corves they mine in a day. After that, we'll compare the numbers to the mine record books and see.
But the yields aren't the same every day, right?
True. That's why we have to focus on one particular day. For example, the other day, on the Feast of St. Petronilla, Foreman Fett was beaming and bragging to me about how much it mined out.
So, I'm supposed to ask about the Feast of St. Petronilla?
It was just a few days ago. I reckon it'll be fresh in their memory. Nevertheless, the miners are a strange bunch. They might not be very forthcoming at first, and they have an odd way of speaking. Like, calling each other Sonny, however old they are. But you'll hear for yourself. You should pretend to be really interested in them, and maybe they'll open up to you. You could be a scholar writing a treatise on silver mining. Or perhaps a nobleman interested in buying a mine. Or just say I'm your distant uncle who's initiating you into the ins and outs of my job. It's up to you.
I reckon I could pose as a curious scholar.
Suit yourself. Just don't change your story so you don't arouse suspicion. But to the point, each day 3 shifts work in the shaft. Each has its foreman, or gaffer, as they say. The first shift is led by Frank, the second by Paul, and the third by Samko. You'll have to ask each one of them how many corves they mined. Samko's hewers should be off work now. You'll find the other 2 shifts in the mine. Take this, so the guards will let you in. It's a letter of safe conduct bearing my seal, allowing you free movement within the mine.
And what are you gonna do?
I'll return to the estate to do my job. What else? I reckon they must be wondering where I am by now. Once you find out how many corves the 3 shifts mined on the Feast of St. Petronilla, return to me. We'll compare that number to the entry in the mine book. And don't forget, don't draw attention.
By the way, I've had the honor of meeting your brother, Peter.
Well, well. Small world.
He was a great help to us at Sukdal.
Even though we had some disagreements, I respect him for everything he succeeded in doing. If it weren't for him, I'd never have been able to do what I do.
How are groschen made from the silver?
The royal share from the smelting works goes to the mint in the Italian court. There, the coiners hammer it out into silver sheets for cutting the coin blanks. Then, in the Italian court's preghouse, our minters cut out and punch new groschen.
How many mints are there in total?
Only the main one is left, the one in the Italian court. There used to be more of them throughout the kingdom, but King Wenceslas II united them all. It was he who contributed the most to the rise of the Prague groschen and the wealth of this region. And of course, his own wealth too.
How much do the mines pay to the king?
That depends on whether it's a royal mine or a mine in the hands of a mining guild, meaning the leaseholders.
I thought all mines were owned by the king.
That's right. But it's much more profitable for the king to grant mining rights to rich mine operators. They bear the cost of mining themselves and pay him a share. The king receives 1/3 of the profits from his own mines, but only 1/5 from the leaseholders. That's how he gets what's his from all the mining.
What about the other 2/3 of the profits from the king's mines?
Those go towards the costs, of course, for operations, wages, and shaft security.
Who's responsible for the mines?
The mines and the mint are supervised directly by the Royal Mint Master, Ulrich Vavark von Neuhaus. As the steward, I'm his direct subordinate. I oversee that everything runs smoothly on his behalf. Then come the chief foreman, then the other foreman, and finally the ordinary pitmen in the shafts. But I don't come in contact with them very often. We follow the path of silver until the moment an ore merchant buys the ore from us and takes it to a smelter.
Who owns the mines?
The king grants mining rights to his loyal subjects, and these leaseholders can rent out their privileges to other people. All sorts of people operate mines in Kuttenberg. Nobility, rich burghers, even the monastery. In fact, anyone with enough money to pay for new shafts to be dug can share in the proceeds.
Who's responsible for the smelting works?
They have their own owners. They buy ore from us and smelt it into pure silver. Then, they deduct the royal tithe, and they can sell the rest. And not just silver. Processing the ore yields a variety of other materials that can be sold just as well.
What happens in the smelting works?
Each smelting shop has a stamp mill, a roasting pit, and a smelting furnace. The stamp mill is used to crush the ore into smaller pieces to make it easier to process. After that, the crushed ore is roasted in a roasting pit to remove most of the impurities. Finally, everything is smelted in a furnace to separate the pure silver from the slag.
So it's processed similarly to steel for smithing?
Yes, but in steelmaking, you don't have to weigh and record every step thrice.
Can any silver get lost?
It can. And unfortunately, it does happen. It may be a capital offence, but even that won't deter everyone. Most often, a pitman tries to smuggle pieces of ore under his clothes. It doesn't end well. Nevertheless, the entire path of the silver, from the ore beneath the ground to minted coins, is closely guarded. Every step is recorded in the books, so if someone is stealing large quantities, they must have it pretty damn well figured out.
Who owns the silver that's mined here?
All the silver in the kingdom of Bohemia belongs to the king, whether it's above ground or still below it. Though I'm sure you understand, the king has a lot on his mind, and he can't be expected to worry about mining. So he leases out the mining rights to his tenants. It's called the Burgergau. There's a lot of money in it. The tenants have to pay the king, and the king also receives a share of the pure silver from the smelting works. That's the royal tithe.
What is this path of silver, anyway?
It's the whole process, from digging the silver ore out of the ground and processing it, to minting silver coins. Silver is found in ore veins underground. The pitmen mine it and get it to the surface. The chief foreman of a gallery counts the corves, and the assayer estimates the purchase price of the ore for the smelter. The raw ore goes to the smelter, where it's crushed in a stamp mill before it can be purified by roasting. Roasted ore goes to the furnaces, where it's smelted into raw and then pure silver. Silver is then cast into rods about as thick as your little finger.
Who checks the royal share?
The royal mint master and his subordinates are responsible for collecting the royal share. That also means me and the shaft foreman. That is why every step of the path of silver is monitored and recorded, starting with how much ore is mined. The smelting works owners don't have to be monitored as closely, since they buy the ore from us. It's in their best interest to get the highest possible yield after deducting the royal share.
Who makes money from all this?
The thing is, everyone does. Pitmen get paid for mining in the shaft. Mine operators get paid for raw ore. The smelters then smelt everything, sell the pure silver, and deduct the raw tithe. The silver rubs off on the hands of anyone who even touches it. But there's still enough left over for the king.
I really need to eat something. Foreman Frank?
What you looking for, Sonny? Can't you see we're Hewin?
Sir Christian of Pisek sent me. I'm a student at the university in Prague. Henry. I'm writing a treatise on silver mining.
I didn't know you scribblers were interested in us ordinary yakkers, but you can't just amble around. You'll cap your creels.
I just have a few questions.
The more we gab, the less we gar. But make it snappy, man. What do you want to know, like?
How exactly do you mine ore?
Bloody hell. Have you never seen a yakka graft, kid ya? You take a kevel and ding away at the rock till it crumbles. And if you keep ganning at it for a couple of years and don't croak from the stithe, then you'll keel over from exhaustion or get scrushed by the ceiling of the road you're hewing.
I wonder, how much do you mine in a day?
That depends on how much ore you howk out of this or that face. It varies.
How much did you mine, say, on the Feast of St. Petronilla?
Listen, kidder. Aren't you a bit too curious? Why do you need to know that for? Them numbers won't be useful to nobody.
Spill it, or I'll kick your arse. I want to know how many corves you mined on the Feast of St. Petronilla. I won't ask again.
I'll read easy, Mara. We're not going to scrap in the mound, are we? I'll tell you. It was a good gar on the Feast of St. Petronilla. Our yakkers hewed 36 corves.
Thanks. How do you get the ore outside?
Same way it's hewed, in the dark and in coves. On top of that, you spend a lot of the bloody time on all fours. Once you get out by with the corf, you get a tally, and you can get back in by.
What is the work of a miner really about?
What's it about? Bugger all, kidder. No great shakes. We gans through the roads, Bella, hewing off from rock in the dark and breathing in the stithe.
How much do you get for your work?
I'll tell you, man. Them deputies up at bank make a howfin pile of chink. But us buggers, the ones doing all the graft, we earn a pittance.
Can you give me a more specific number?
Sometimes not even half a grosh and a cough. That's near way to make a living, man. Have a nice evening.
Are you Foreman Samco?
Aye, I am. And who's asking?
My name is Henry. Stuart Christian sent me to you. I'm a student from Prague, and I'm writing a treatise on miners and mine operations.
Why should I care? Didn't you see we're off graft?
Sir Christian told me to ask about anything that interests me, and that you'll tell me.
Ah, Sonny, I'm so tired. I haven't even got the strength for gabbing. I wouldn't mind having a game of dice, but miners' rules. Then I'll tell you everything. What'd you say?
You better start talking before you really annoy me. If there's one thing you don't want, it's an angry Henry slamming your head against the table till you see black.
Bloody hell, kidder. You don't mess about. I see enough black as is down in the mound. Ask away, then.
How much do you make doing this?
Don't even get me started. The chink's bad, and it's getting worse. Half a grosh and a cough is no.
What is the work of a miner about?
Aye, that's a good question, Mara. Mostly about Alkin. Any yakker will tell you that. But proper rest is even more important than graft. You're as weak as a midgie without it.
So how do you rest?
Depends. Some have a kip, some a swally, some go whoring. As for me, I play dice.
How do you mine ore?
Either we're on only then.
How many cores did you mine on, say, the Feast of St. Petronilla?
I can tell you exactly. All the yakkers were working, and we were getting along nicely. We managed to hulk 34 corves without skimping on hame time. First time in ages, that was.
That's all I need to know.
God grant you health. Oh, you fools.
Blessings to you.
Good to see you.
Greetings.
Careful.
Where can I find your foreman, Paul?
What you doing here, kidder? Who let you in, by?
I've got a letter of safe conduct from Christian Episek. I'm a student from Prague. I'm trying to get to know the miner's life from up close and write a thesis on it.
Right? A thesis? Well, I'll be damned.
I just need to ask your foreman a few things.
What Gaffer's gone doing there to pray? Don't know if he'll be up for talking, but...
Why wouldn't he be in the mood for talking?
Young Jaybird, one of our Maras, got scrushed the other day. He hadn't even had a full week on the graft, poor lad. It happened the day before the feast of St. Petronilla. You'll find Paul at the lowest level, by the roof fall. He's praying for the salvation of his soul. You'll hear the wind howling in the attic down there. It can be heard as far as that cursed road. I hear it's haunted. Don't fret, but St. Barbara will look out for you. See you soon, my friend.
Are you Foreman Paul?
Hey! You walk like a ghost, kidder. You gave me a bit of a fright there. Hold on. I don't know ye. Who are you? And what are you doing so deep in the pit?
My name's Henry. Sir Christian sent me. I'm a student at the university in Prague, and I'm writing a thesis on the life and lot of miners. I hate to interrupt your prayers for a dead friend, but I need to ask you something.
He weren't just me Mara. He were my blood. I raised him from a nipper since my sister died. He kept begging me to take him on a shift, saying he was as strong as a horse. Wouldn't have taken her like. And now, how can he forgive myself?
Come on, it wasn't your fault. Accidents happen. It's God's will.
I suppose you're right. Will you pray with me for his soul one last time?
I'd like to hear some answers first.
Oh, what's the rush? I'll read then. Ask away.
How much do you make doing this?
Depends on how much we hawk. How hard the rock is, how much ore's in it. It's not really worth it, though. Half a grosh and a corf isn't much of a fight.
What is the work of a miner about?
What it's about? It's about hewing the face and hauling the ore to the bank in corves. Over and over again. Proper graft, that. Can be real dodgy, mind. Might even do you in.
Are deaths in the mine common?
Aye, but every death in the shaft is a waste. Whether it's in a crumple or black damp. Unfortunately, we still bury a yakka or two a month, you know. That's life like.
How is the ore mined?
First, we have to survey the shaft and find ore. Then the place gets scored and set ablaze. We set up timber around. The hewers take their tools and start dinging rock and hewing ore. Nothing to it.
So how many corves did you mine, say, on the Feast of St. Petronilla?
That weren't a good day. Nobody was in the mood for ganning on after what happened to Jaybird. But even so, we managed to hawk 30 corves.
That's all I need to know.
And now we'll pray together for poor Jaybird. Repeat after me. I'm sorry.
Good day to you.
Careful!
I already know how many corves the crews extracted on the Feast of St. Petronilla. It was 100 altogether.
I see. Meanwhile, I looked in the mine book. How many do you think it says there?
I'd guess it's less.
Then you'd be correct. The book lists 90 corves extracted. That means 10 corves of ore disappear each day. But nobody could just come along and take them. We keep a close watch on everything. The unreported corves must be going out to smelting works with the rest of the ore. That means...
What does it mean?
that this is fraud of colossal proportions, and that Foreman Fett and Herman the ore merchant are in it up to their ears.
What are we going to do about it?
Well, we need to make them tell us more, but carefully. Being involved in the theft of silver is a capital crime, so it should be in their own interest to cooperate. Make sure to promise them no one will know about their crime. You can mention my name. When you've talked to them, come back to me and we'll figure out what to do next.
Was willst du, Fremder?
We need to talk, Herman.
And who might you be?
Henry. But that's not important. Sir Christian sent me. We found some discrepancies in the mine book.
Discrepancies?
How do you explain that the miner has extracted 100 cores of ore on the Feast of St. Petronilla, but the book only says 90.
If it says 90, there must have been 90. The book does not lie.
Or someone is writing down false numbers and hiding 10 corves.
I do not write anything in the book myself. Foreman Fett counts the corves here. Go and talk to him instead.
Don't tell me you don't count them too. You wouldn't pay for more corves than there really were.
Do you have any idea how much ore passes through my hands? How am I supposed to remember how many there were ausgerechnet on the Fest of St. Petronilla? Besides, miners can lie and say they extracted more than they did. They like to show off.
All 3 crews agreed to report more. I seriously doubt that. Your story doesn't add up, Herman. We found out. Simple as that. Don't try to outsmart me and Sir Christian.
I am not trying to do anything. It was Fett's idea. He came to me saying we were going to deliver more corves to the smelters than we would report, and I would get paid for it. It was going well. I have always paid for what we put in the book. Then I got some geld from Fett on the side. On the feast of St. Petronilla, I was afraid they would be able to tell the difference. 10 corves is 10 corves after all. Nobody at the smelting works cared at all. I am sure they are in on it too.
How long has this been going on?
Several months. Maybe half a year. About since Sigismund arrived.
Is Ulrich Vavak behind this?
The Mint Master? I have no idea. I am a mere assayer. I have never even met Vavak.
Sir Christian and I agreed to investigate the matter in secret, so just act like nothing's going on. Keep doing what you're doing. We don't want to scare off the people who are actually responsible. Understand?
Yeah, I understand. I will be as silent as the grave.
A word, Foreman.
Who are you, and what do you want?
I'm Henry, but that's not important. Sir Christian sent me. I need to discuss a delicate matter with you.
Don't tell me one of the yakkers shot all over the outhouse in the yard again.
I'm afraid it's a little worse than that. We found some discrepancies in the mine book.
Let Sir Christian handle it then. They're his books, and his responsibility too.
To steal silver from the king is a most serious crime. Punishable by death.
Why are you telling me this?
I learned that the miners extracted no less than 100 corves on the Feast of St. Petronilla, but the mine book says 90.
Do you think the yakkers know how to count? They're blockheads. And they like to show off. I'm sure they just exaggerated. Anyway, what's it to you? Did the steward send you to snoop around? Don't you know? I work for Vavak, the Mint Master himself. I'm under his protection.
Aye, there's no point in denying it. Herman told me everything.
Bloody snitch.
You have nothing to fear. You're under my protection, and nothing will happen to you. I'll deal with anyone who wants to harm you. Believe me.
Oi, I'll tell you what I know. As soon as I was made head gaffer, Amara, who works at the smelting works in Grund, came to me. He said someone wanted to talk to me. One of them. So I met this fella in the tavern in Grund, and he told me how it all works. How to cook the books like. He told me the trick was not to report some of the extracted ore,
and transport it secretly to the smelters, along with the rest. He made it very clear if I didn't play along, I could have an accident, and there was nothing I could do.
Do you think the Mint Master, Ulrich Vavak, is behind this?
I don't know. I've got naught bad to say about Vavak. He treats me canny whenever he shows up. He says if Christian gives us hassle, he'd sooner replace him than me. He really said that. The Mint Master himself.
Who pays you on the side? You have to pay the miners for what they actually extracted.
I get the extra chink from the smelting works. It's enough for the Yakkers and for Herman.
Who was that fella from the smelter who came to you?
He never told me his name, even when I asked. He's a tall bloke, stocky, pockmarked. I don't scare easy, but this bloke was reet terrifying.
How long has this been going on?
For some time now, definitely. I heard even former head gaffer Kircher was in on it too.
Where can I find him?
You can't ask Kircher any questions. He fell down a shaft. They say he was drunk. But I don't think it was an accident.
All right. Just carry on as if nothing's happened. No one must find out we know about the fraud. Christian won't give you any trouble, nor will anyone else. Is that clear?
Clear as a bell, Mara. I'll be silent as the grave.
I talked to Fett and Herman.
And? Did they confess?
They did. I mean, I made them. It's just as we thought. The trail leads to the smelting works.
Did you tell them to keep quiet and act as if nothing's happening?
I did.
Let's see what we've got so far. Those 10 unreported corves leave for the smelting works from here. If silver's going missing, that's where it must be happening. You'll have to go and look around, and talk to the owner, Buresh. I reckon that'll be tricky, though.
How so?
Buresh is a very cautious and clever man. I reckon he won't be happy to have someone snooping around his property. But he's the only one who can give you permission to walk round the smelting works without the guards bothering you.
Something like your letter of safe conduct. How can I persuade him to give me one?
Like I said, it won't be easy. Nevertheless, I found a way you could gain his trust, at least a little. You'll pretend to be a nobleman interested in buying some smelting works, who'd like to get a closer look at his operation.
A nobleman this time, then?
But be careful. Buresh won't be as easily fooled as the simple pitman here. You'll have to dress like a real nobleman. That means no plate armor, or, God forbid, bloody rags. But listen, don't carry a weapon. Buresh has a morbid fear of someone threatening him. That's why he has a bodyguard with him at all times. You must come to him dressed to the nines and act impeccably, so as not to arouse the slightest suspicion. In short, be charismatic as you can manage.
What should I wear?
Like I said, some decent clothes. I reckon you can imagine what those look like. If you don't have anything of the sort, visit a tailor in town. I'm sure he can sell you something nice. If you're charismatic enough, Buresh is sure to believe your intentions are good. And make sure you wash up before you go. You can't go and see him looking like some dung-soiled peasant.
What else should I know about the smelting works before I go?
In the smelting works, ore from the mines is crushed, ground, and then smelted. They extract silver along with all sorts of other materials from it. Then they give part of the silver to the king for the minting of groschen and sell off the rest, along with the other materials, to craftsmen.
What should I know about this Buresh before I talk to him?
He's the slyest fox of them all. He comes from somewhere in Moravia, and he moved to Kuttenberg a few years ago. He started to prosper soon after, and not even Sigismund's arrival stopped him. He quickly joined his side. Now he's doing better and better. But whether that means he's involved in something shady, who knows?
I got it. I'm ready to go.
Here, I've written you a letter of introduction to take with you and give to Buresh. I reckon he won't be thrilled, but he won't turn you down. Ask him discreetly, in passing, how many corves he took from our mines on the Feast of St. Petronilla. If my guess is correct, it should be 90. It still doesn't prove anything, but at least it'll give us a clue. You could get something out of the workers. One of them is bound to know something. When you're in the smelting works, keep your eyes peeled. I'm sure something is going on there. Good luck, Henry.
Oh, you pooch.
Put that weapon away. You hear me? Don't come near me with that weapon.
Greetings.
God bless. What does that
Call
book
that
want
beast to
over here?
heel.